Hi there, Phil again. This tip is on growing a diverse range of plants so that you're able to manage pests and also weeds in your garden. Now, as an example here, I'm standing in front of my apple tree. In my area here, we are plagued with codling moth, which is of course a pest which is widespread across all temperate regions. However, this particular tree has been selected from the wild and it is naturally resistant to them. It is called a Monty Surprise, and it was actually first located in my region here. However, it is also sold in different countries around the world, so you might be able to find it. However, it might not be the best for your locality. Now, nurseries usually grow trees which are those which are widely found in supermarkets, and they are selected on the basis firstly that they are suitable for commercial use, they have cosmetic appeal, they're of an even size, and they store well. These are not issues that particularly relate to us as home gardeners. And it also makes sense for them to sell those ones to the garden shops because they're the ones that their customers are familiar with because they see them in the supermarkets. However, they're not necessarily the best for home gardeners. In a commercial orchard, there is a spray regime and other management practices to prevent attack by these pests. But we don't really want to spray a large tree such as this one here. So this tree here, which is called a Monty Surprise, you can see the fruit are just developing. This is early summer that I'm filming this. They're a large fruit which is naturally resistant to codling moth and also other pests. So I don't have to do any control measures for pests in my garden. It's only available for a short while of the year after I've cropped it. However, I actually dry it and juice it and stew it and freeze it so that I have it available all year round. This particular variety has been shown to have a high degree of health-giving properties to people. I'll put a link down below to the research trust that has located this. I do volunteer at this trust. Now, under this tree here, you might notice that there is a nasturtium growing. And this nasturtium I have growing naturally here, and it may be that it is attracting predators which actually help to control the codling moth. I have a range of plants growing naturally under here, and if you look at my clip on growing wildflowers, you'll find that I discuss some of these. They've naturally self-seeded in my garden. Under here I've got nasturtium, of course. I've also got borage, shiny angelica, all of which are plants which help the diversity in my garden, and amongst them they certainly help to control the range of pests and diseases and also weeds which I would naturally be prone to. These plants here under my apple tree do actually keep weeds in check. I have very little trouble with weeds. Now, I'm going to discuss a range of other ways that you can improve the health of your garden and also make garden management easier by using the right management practices. Diversity and density of growing plants can also be helpful. Simply growing different types of plants close together can confuse detrimental insects that are attracted to specific host plants such as vegetables. Research shows that in their confusion, the insects often fail to lay eggs on their target plants. Pests usually track down their target plants by scent, so they may be confused by strongly scented plants nearby, such as herbs. To implement this method, place plants in randomized patches and keep the ground covered by foliage. The square foot gardening method may be useful in this context. Now, I have quite a large vegetable garden, so I do usually plant my crops in strict rows. I use examples such as beetroot or onions, so I'm sort of forced to do that for ease of management with these crops. However, if you've got a smaller garden or a smaller vegetable garden, it may suit you to plant your vegetables randomly through your garden or even amongst flowers. Now, I do talk about this in some of my other tips, so be sure to subscribe to my channel so you see them as they become available. Next, we'll look at the concept of creating an ecosystem. Mimicking nature is a useful way to control weeds as well as pests. Different plants use different ecological niches, including light, nutrients and timing of growth. Weeds love bare soil, moisture and ample light. Planting compatible plants together fills the available space and removes the spaces where weeds can establish themselves. The same process can be used when growing a cover crop over winter. Mixtures of lupin, ryegrass and field peas will use the different niches available in the soil and reduce weed infestation. Additionally, returning organic matter to the soil as mulch also reduces the ability of the weeds to colonize garden areas. And again, in my tips I have discussed the issue about growing cover crops and also my chop and drop method of simply returning annual weeds to the soil and also crop remnants. Finally, we'll look at nutrient enrichment. Many species take up different nutrients from the soil and air and return them to the soil when they decompose. Some plants are shallow or surface rooted, while others delve deep into the soil. This includes pumpkins and kale, for example. These plants absorb micro and macronutrients, making them available for the following crops. Legumes such as sweet peas, beans and lupins host bacteria and nodules on their soil that fix nitrogen from the air. When plant remnants are returned to the soil, this nitrogen is available for other garden plants. So I hope that you found this tip useful. Certainly the ones that I apply, and not only myself, I do help other gardeners in my region here, all of whom practice the same sort of management regimes, and we all get excellent results without adding any sprays or without adding artificial fertilizers or indeed any external supplements to the soil. As I mentioned before, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. Share this with others who you think might find my channel useful. And also don't forget to press the like button down below. This is what helps my channel to grow. And also, of course, as always, thank you so much for watching this through to the end.